So Trump was asked about high grocery prices, an issue that's top of mind for many Americans, and the response he gave was interesting. Let's take a look.
How are you going to bring down the cost of food and groceries?
Good. Very good. Thank you. So we have to start always with energy. Always. I don't want to be boring about it, but there's no bigger subject. It covers everything. If you make donuts, if you make cars, whatever you make, energy is a big deal, and we're going to get that. It's my ambition to get your energy bill within 12 months down 50%. If I can do that, we've done a hell of a job. 5-0, not 15, 50. Interest rates are going to follow, and actually they're going to follow for another reason. The economy is now not good, and interest rates, you'll see they'll do the rate cut and all the political stuff tomorrow, I think. And, will he do a half a point? Will he do a quarter of a point? But the reason is because the economy is not good. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to do it. But we're going to get interest rates down, and we got to work with our farmers. Our farmers are being decimated right now. They're being absolutely decimated. And, one of the reasons is we allow a lot of farm product into our country, and we're going to have to be a little bit like other countries. We're not going to allow so much We're going to let our farmers go to work. And I don't know if you remember, I love the farmers because, I had many meetings as president. I have this gorgeous room with this beautiful table that seats about 35 people. And I was with the farmers. Usually everybody wants something. They all want subsidy. But I was with the farmers, and I think you might have been there, actually, Sarah. I said, look, fellas, we're going to get you such a beautiful subsidy, meaning I'm going to do things. And one of the people raises and, sir, honestly, we don't want a subsidy. This is the first time this ever happened to me. Everyone they want money. They want to build windmills. We want money with these windmills. Anyway, but you know what? It was amazing. He said, almost tears in his eyes, they were getting decimated. We don't want a subsidy.
Wow, he is always quite something to listen to, but there's a few points to be made about this interesting answer, because parts of it I think Trump is spot on, but parts of it I think he's really missing the mark. First and foremost, he is absolutely right to identify energy prices as key to the entire economy, because energy prices factor into the cost of transporting goods and services. So when the cost of energy is high, it has a ripple effect and increases prices on everything that you buy on the store shelf. So on that sense, he is right that if we can increase energy production to even higher levels, it's actually at pretty high levels now, but if we can get red tape out of the way, get the American energy sector going, and bring down the cost of gas and the cost of energy, then that will help decrease the prices of everyday goods and services that Americans rely on. So that part of the answer was pretty strong. It's when Trump gets to farmers that he starts to miss the mark by quite a large degree. Because, for example, he talks about limiting the amount of food products that are coming into America so our farmers here can do a better job or can compete better on the market. That would actually have the total opposite effect of what he was asked about, which is how to bring down grocery prices. If you start blocking the importation of food products into the country or restricting it or taxing it, well, what that will do is decrease the supply, which would mean higher prices for consumers. And that's how it's supposed to help the farmers here in America, because they'll be able to charge higher prices because foreign competition will be blocked. And when you have less competition, you have higher prices. So if your goal is to help out a special interest group, which is the American farming industry, which already gets insane amounts of subsidies from the federal government, then that would be what you might want to do. But if your goal is to help Americans who are struggling with high grocery prices, that's the exact opposite of the approach you should be taking. You should be seeking to reduce barriers and have more food coming into the country from Canada and Mexico and other countries we're allied with, from Vietnam, from South Korea, from Europe. And then it will lower prices for consumers who are struggling to get by, like this woman and her children and grandchildren who they're struggling to get by. Of course, we need to help these people out, and the prices of things are way too high, but this kind of, and economists would talk about it as a protectionist approach to economics that Trump sometimes echoes, of make everything in America and protect us from foreign competition. That's actually a recipe for higher prices right? Because free trade brings down prices, it increases efficiency. Things can be made for much less and produced for much less and overseas in many cases. And then there are some things that we do better here in the US that we should focus on. But when we have free trade with other countries, and no, I'm not talking about adversaries like China necessarily, I'm talking about all the friendly countries that Trump also seems to want to restrict trade with, that's when we actually see lower prices and more economic growth and more efficiency. But Trump, I hope that maybe he jumbled up his words, but this does seem of a piece with his broader approach to economics these days, which is very focused on protectionism. But when it comes to lowering prices for Americans, that approach is exactly backwards. So I was disappointed to see him go down this line of thinking in response to what was a very important and very timely question from an audience member at his event.